Hey guys, Flash here, and today I'm going to unbox the 1:144 scale high-grade Universal Century RGM-96X Jesta cannon. Now without further ado, let us begin. Okay, so beginning from one of the sides, here we see a painted version, front and back, of the high-grade Universal Century Jesta cannon. And honestly speaking, this is probably the closest you can get in terms of results to anime accuracy. So if you really want to challenge yourself and attempt at painting, you can probably attempt something like this, and this is probably going to be a good picture guide for you to get an idea of what it should look like after you produce a finished result. But moving on to the next piece, once you look after the pictures, here's like a brief animation version, information of the RGM-96X, and also it has a nice picture of it, and again just some anime references and information. Looking forward, here's also information and specs on the design and the overall gist of it, and basically it has a front and back view of the design and the line art of the Jesta cannon. That's basically it. And also this is the 152nd release from the high-grade Universal Century, so that means this is the 152nd release from the series, and honestly that means you basically have more variations and ranges to choose from. So if you're really looking for high grades or something really nice in your price range, the high-grade Universal Century is definitely something you should look at or look into. But besides that, looking at the other side, here we have a picture of an action pose along with information on the action, along with the knee gimmick right there and the rifle, and also the shoulder gimmick and the waist torso gimmick, and also it shows the weapons like the rifle and the hand grenades and the beam saber and the final pose with it right there. And for final informations, basically it has markings and some more information on the model. And basically not many high grades come with markings, so when it does, you should really appreciate it, and you should appreciate the variations and the options to choose from when it comes to this one, which I'll explain later once I unbox it. But for final wrap-ups, if you're wondering about the price, retails for 2,000 yen, and that's pretty simple and straightforward. And it's been released for over a month or two now, so you can probably get one affordable or cheap now if you really look for specific retails that are all going on sale. But that's pretty much it, and that wraps things up. But let's see what's inside it. I want to go over each runner individually just to show you guys an idea of what everything looks like. Okay, so for the first runner, we're going to go over the B2 runner. And honestly, you're not really going to see much except for like pieces from the foot, and also the armor pieces from the manipulators. And we have 3, and also another piece for the leg, and that's pretty simple and straightforward. And the only detail when it comes to it, honestly, it comes to the bottom of the foot, and it really is quite well detailed. So definitely if you mask it or maybe panel line it over, it'll bring out some true detail, so that's really nice. Looking at the B1 runner, it's rather simple. It follows the B2 runner, or rather the B2 runner follows the B1 runner. And here we have armor pieces for 4 manipulators, which is rather confusing. We'll go over the manipulators later, but looking at the skirt, besides the leg piece right here, there's also a skirt piece right here. It's actually combined, but you can easily snap that off and it can still work. And also, the nice thing about this is that you can variate between Jesta cannon and Jesta, which is really a nice option and feature. So that actually saves you money. So instead of rather than getting like another Jesta and a Jesta cannon, just to pose one as a Jesta and the other as a Jesta cannon, you can variate. But if you really want to, definitely it doesn't hurt to get another Jesta cannon, because it's basically a Jesta anyway, because it already comes with the parts to become one. But that's really straightforward, and it's really nice. And honestly, it is a nice feature for Bandai to offer, because that just removes the option or the desire to get another model when you're actually holding the model in your hands. But that's too much information, honestly. But moving back to this, again, these are just the standard Jesta pieces from the normal version. And here's the shield for the normal version. And here's the shoulder pads for the normal version, and yada yada yada. And it's pretty straightforward, honestly. Moving on to the A runner, it's probably going to hold most of the armor pieces, or most of the detail, honestly, because here we just see detail of the chest or the back piece right here, and then we see detail for the legs, and just see the general design, especially the head right here, which I think they achieved nicely. It really does look strong and nice in terms of design and the amount of detail that they achieved. And that's pretty much it. And also a piece for the chest. It's actually pretty nice, honestly. I don't really have a lot of words to explain it, but honestly, just looking at it, comparing to the previous high grades that I've seen, a chest or like a piece like this is made up of 2 pieces, but this is just 1 piece, and it's rather simple and it's really nice. But moving forward to the forehead or the helmet piece right here, again, a nice detail and nice addition to the overall molding. So honestly, high grades are really bumping up in terms of quality, so expect more out of from Bandai for more features and options and variations. So this isn't the only high grade that should be really noteworthy. But that pretty much simplifies everything. And just looking at it, it really has like 2 color contrasts, or 3. Like here we see the lighter color and then the darker one, and then it gets cut off by the simple orange clear piece, and that's pretty much it. Now to wrap things up, this is the C1 runner, and it's actually majorly the weapons and little small joint pieces for like the typical small inner frame of the high grade. It does technically have one, but it's not really something you can call inner frame. It's just a few slight frame pieces just to give it more of a mechanical design. But for the most part, it is 1:144 scale, so it's not going to have a frame unless it's a real grade. But the weapons are pretty straightforward, and you have 2 options. If you really want to change between the cannon and the Jesta, that is why they give you the cannon's rifle and also the Jesta's rifle, so you can interchange between one or the other. And it's a nice add-on, honestly. But to wrap things up, these are the simple runners, and here's the D runner, and this is majorly for the Jesta version of the Jesta, and honestly it's pretty straightforward, and you can definitely see the detail and the amount of work put into it. So definitely it is something rather interesting to look at, and it really is by far, I think, one of the best high grades I've seen lately. I have yet to really get more of the recent ones, so hopefully I'll get more and compare between one or the other. But here's the polycaps as well. It's rather big for a high grade, but it's understandable for the amount of parts and options it comes with. And here's the simple E-runner, and it's just option or like small detail parts, so they just put it into one small runner, and also you can definitely see that's rather simple, like the hand grenades and also the missiles. So everything's pretty straightforward, and honestly there's nothing really to get. You really get the idea of how detailed and how well molded it is. But that's pretty much it. But for my final opinion, honestly, this is kind of confusing. Here we have more manipulators. I'm not really convinced on if it's going to use them or not. I have seen extra manipulators being included in models before, but usually it's really slim to none if they're being used or not, especially when the colors are out. So honestly, I'm not really sure why they include this. It might be for the Jesta version, if it might not, I'm not really sure. But it's nice that they did. And here's the universal beam saber effects, which is really a nice addition because the fact that it comes with that circular thing. Some models don't come with particular beam sabers like that, or beam sabers in general, so to have beam sabers in general like this, it really gives a universal option, and it gives you more room to vary between other models if they need stuff like this as well. So that's pretty much it for what's inside the contents of the Jesta cannon. Let's not forget the stickers and markings either. It's really a simple small sticker sheet, and when it's small, that's a good thing. When it's big, that's not particularly that good because it just requires a lot of work, and honestly stickers don't really look as well as the molded color, so honestly just having small sheet is really nice. But for the markings, again, rather simple. They took it simply, and I really do like the options with the numbers, especially with my name 007. I can probably achieve that with the numbers right there. So again, a nice offer from Bandai. A rather simple manual to cover things up finally and to end things off. Honestly, it's just gonna be a simple manual that you will always see from the Universal series, and it's like the same size as whatever other model. Honestly, comparing to like the Sazabi, the High New, and the New Gundam, those are the high grade Universal Century models that I have. It's still generally the same size of the from the manuals, and it still has like the same information, especially the specs and the same name. And when you go back, it shows you an action and a front and rear view, along with a guide to the markings where you want to apply them to, especially details, color guide once you open it up, more information on the model, and if you're interested, you can get these as well. These are actually numbered from the series like this. This is 152. Unicorn is 100, Rezel Type C is 142, Jesta is 130, and Sinanju is 116, along with Rosen Zulu, which is 149. And pretty straightforward, honestly, the manual. It has a lot of black and white pages, but once you get towards the end, that's when it gets colored. But that's it for the most part, and nothing more to really exaggerate on. So that's basically it on the Jesta Cannon, and for my final thoughts, just looking at that, I really do like and appreciate the fact that Bandai gives you an option to vary between two models technically. The Jesta Cannon is technically 2-in-1, but it's really a nice offer again from Bandai. And if you really are interested in it, definitely check out the links in the description below. And as always, comment, rate, and subscribe. This is FlashX007, signing out.